Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatītam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilakyam Ekam Nityam Vimaramachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Naman. Om. Adorations for Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. We continue with Yoga Vasistha, Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, Section 20. Sage Vasistha is as if sharing his experience with Rama and also recalling how he was enriched by spiritual knowledge as he visited Lord Shiva in Kailash mountain. Storyline, figurative. Although the sun is located a great distance from the earth, it continues to sustain the various activities on the earth. In the same way, although identifying with the transcendental vision of the self, you should maintain a detached relationship with the body while continuing to perform your various duties. The highest ideal is being presented. The ideal is to attain enlightenment, liberation. Ideal is the big deal for your eye. Live in a world with a deal, what you want to get. And the real deal is the ideal. Ego, the deal is not real. Ego's deal is deceptive, delusional. But the I am deal is, now how do you understand it? The simile given. I am is the sun. The ego I am is a reflected sun. In so many jars of water, there are countless reflected suns. Each reflected sun develops the illusion, I am. And this is my house, beautiful, beautiful pot. And there are countless reflected suns that they are involved in different, now countless situations, circumstances, adversities, prosperities. They have big story. But behind all that, the real I am is just untouched. Nothing exists. Nothing belongs. The I am alone is. And that, when it enters that insight, just a little spark, you create a resolution, a resolve. May I attain that. And that is called the ideal. O Rama, do not become a slave to the perverted intellect which sustains the ego sense. People want to be very rational, reasonable. Everything they evaluate. But one thing they forget is the ego sense. The ego sense in you does not stand the test of practical reality. I will not go into too much detail. Ego sense is actually nonsense. So many things you are experiencing by your ego. That ego changes its mood. And all those things that were looking so good for you, they are no longer good. And if your ego turns Godwards, then the subtle insight develops. Ego is not me. I am not the body, mind. I am not the chitta. I am not the intellect. I am not the ego. I am Satchidananda, possessed by the evil spirit of the chitta. The spirit continues to wander from embodiment to embodiment. Evil spirit of chitta simply means ego dominated chitta. Understand, Brahman alone exists. And Prakriti is Brahman's magical power. Brahman, through Prakriti, Prakriti has 3 stages: Sattvic, Satwa, Rajas, Tamas. Through Satwa dominated Prakriti, called Maya, Brahman expresses in the form of Ishvara, with Ishvara as sustainer, creator, destroyer, and all aspects. Same Brahman, through Rajas predominating Prakriti, expresses in the form of countless souls evolving in this world. And Tamas predominating Prakriti, through that Prakriti, Brahman expresses in the form of all the materials needed for soul's evolution. And of those materials, Antakarana is at the highest level. But they are all Brahman through Tamas Tamasi Prakriti. And I say Antakarana, we will be referring to Chitta, the unconscious, ego, egoism, ahamkar, buddhi, rational intellect, manas, your conscious mind. So if chitta is dominated by egoism, that chitta becomes the cause of a delusional concept of who am I. Egoism becomes highlighted in your personality as your identity. Real identity is not your ego. When you sleep, ego is not there. And therefore, when profound spiritual sensitivity develops, your central goal becomes how to bring about effacement of your ego. And you begin to also understand that the more balanced you are, more integrated you are, greater is your ability to separate from your ego. And in that state, you term it surrender to God. You begin to view you are an instrument in divine hand. That again is not one-step movement, but progressive movement. But that's your profound ideal. Instead of claiming this is me, this is mine, and tumbling from one birth to another to have variations of me and mine. Your me today looks different. Tomorrow it will look different. Even in this very life, lots of me's. This soul goes on moving with meows. Meow, meow, meow. So those who have become victims of the evil spirit of chitta, means malin chitta, impure chitta, and therefore continue to live in their bodies like the dead. If you are dominated by your chitta, that means chitta has refracted pure consciousness. Or chitta has, just like water, what does it do? It has created an appearance of the sun by reflecting the sun. So think of the difference between the sun and the reflected sun. When you are thinking of yourself, this is me, this is mine, it is the reflected sun that's handling all these concepts. Now the purpose of spiritual teaching is to introduce to that ego that this world is not real. And more surprisingly, you are not real. And this is a very artistic process, a process of vichar and blended with upasana. Adopt an elevated vision and give up your slavery to the ego. Ego-based vision brings delusional colors of prosperity and adversity. Led by your ego vision, what you think is your wonderful time you will have if certain things change the way you want. That's called egoistic vision. That vision is illusory. You have experienced that type of vision millions of times through many embodiments. And you have gained what you wanted to gain. Your dreams have come out to be true. But then, so true that they are nothing but your dream. Nothing real. So, ego becomes such a restrictive factor, and one should not be a slave to that ego. Taking recourse to the repeated practice of spiritual disciplines ascend the heights of yoga. Now therefore, practice your sadhana in Jnana Yoga, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, and Sakshatkar. Shravan, listening, Manan, reflection. All these are profound and we have talked about them. Shravan means listening to what? Listening to teachings under proper guidance. Manan, what you have listened to, try to assimilate it. And that takes its own course. Nididhyasan, when you have assimilated it, then your mind begins to flow automatically towards the truth. It's the highest climax of this process is mind flowing to Brahman, implying it that advanced level of meditation, the deep within your heart, there is constant awareness. I am, that am I. That is Nididhyasan in a more practical way. And this, of course, will lead you to your realization of who am I. So this is the sadhana aspect. Then all other aspects of sadhana that you have heard on the path of Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all sadhanas are implied. Hatha Yoga, sitting up and down, headstand. All realities are practical realities that become a part of your integral yoga in daily life. Nothing should be left behind. Then, having gone beyond the ego sense, abide in the self. But then the mention was ascend the heights of yoga. And that relates to the jnana bhumikas. First step, shubhecha, aspiration. Next step, vicharana, that's reflection. Next step, tanumanasi. Mind becomes attenuated, no longer burdened by impurities. Impurities become lesser and lesser. Satwa. Now mind becomes illumined with Satwa, dominated by Satwa. Therefore, the light of truth begins to invade your mind. Mind becomes like a cloud and being charged with the light of the sun. This leads you to asam sakti. But that state where mind is being invaded by light is sattva-patti. Sattva has dominated your mind. And next you are moving further up, asam sakti. You are living in the world, doing all your duties, but not creating karma, because you have surrendered to God. Deep down you don't have the illusion, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. And further you are inspired by the highest ideal, I am Brahman. O Rama, do not let your mind sustain the illusion of the ego sense. It's all this statement is profound statement, and you have to understand it. The statement doesn't mean that you suddenly say, oh yes, I understand it. No more from tomorrow, no ego sense. Is that so? When you become qualified, then it is simpler than that. Even that statement. But when you are not reached that state, not qualified, it is a mountainous job. It's practically impossible. So what I'm leading you to understand that the process of sadhana brings about a progressive process of self-effacement, effacement of the ego. If you become indifferent to the presence or the absence of this restrictive ego, then it will come under your control. detaching from your own ego, that's an advanced level of your sadhana success. And it is not something impossible. Even when you are not advanced enough, you can experience your ego. If you are unhealthy, you can experience whether you are suffering from obesity or emaciation. Only thing you don't know what to do about it. But similarly, you can experience whether you have wild ego or a civilized ego. Now, as you advance, as you are placed in a little better situation, then it becomes more a healthy process of practicing sakshi bhavana, a witness attitude towards your ego. And that's a profound attainment. Because things that your mind reacts, all the reaction of your personality to things around you is based upon your ego. And if you were to understand the ego itself and handle it, then you are in a best position to face your challenges in a right way. But if you can't handle your ego, you cannot face your challenge. Scolded, insulted, ignored by the chitta, this egoism becomes powerless. As ego, in your own comfortable world, your private world, does your ego rest peacefully? No. Your chitta is slapping it. You had the opportunity to make more money, but why did you do that? Can be qualitative or negative type, whichever way. The chitta goes on scolding your ego. So you're at ego level, you are never at peace, but you are completely dependent, a kind of a slave of a monster whose mind you don't know what it is. Brought in Mahabharata, Duryodhana like a slave for Shakuni. Duryodhana was egoism. And Shakuni constantly scolded Duryodhana. Duryodhana acted accordingly. With the exercise of a higher plane of the mind, destroy the lower plane. Higher plane of the mind is humility. Destroy the pride by humility. Higher state of mind is kshama, forgiveness. Lesser state is anger. To destroy anger by kshama. So you have both states there within your personality. Take advantage of the higher state and allow it to become more highlighted. And that again, just reminding you, 3S, how to deal with negative traits, vices of your personality. And you deal with them by adopting the mantra suppress, substitute, sublimate. Don't go after it. Don't make the negative to have great value by becoming more and more negative. You notice yourself losing your temper. Now came back and there is invitation for satsanga. But no, you are so angry with yourself. You don't want to show your face. So that's not the way you can handle your anger. But when you had the opportunity of satsanga, cool yourself and allow to change the atmosphere for your mind and develop that ability to have positive affirmation. And since deep down you are nothing but positive, sublimation is bound to happen. But if you go on counting your negative qualities and correcting them, and then writing in the diary, corrected this one and this one, disciplinary level, I'm not discouraging you. It's good to do that. But don't stay in that level. Because you cannot count all your mistakes and you can't correct them. When you think you have corrected them, you are not really knowing. You're unconscious. O Rama, in fact, you are the all-knowing self. You are not this limited mind. In vain have you become associated with this mind. See this. Think of the sun and think of a reflected sun in a jar of water. And the reflected sun is on the basis of water. Water is the chitta. In vain have you become associated with the mind. And as if the sun god is talking to the reflected sun. Oh dear sun, why are you associated with this water puddle? Get out of it. You are me. This mind has created the illusion of the world process. It has robbed you of your patience and your inward stability. May you renounce this mind and become established in the self. As long as you are in the clutches of the evil spirit of the chitta, you cannot be helped by anyone. That's very shocking news. It's always one is dominated with the idea that your misery, whatever you are suffering from, is caused by people around you, circumstances, etc. You find always fault. If I were born in Satyuga, things would have been different. If the world was without this virus, the world would be so different. So you are always looking for an external cause for your misery and find yourself helpless. What can you do with it? And similarly, you are also developing the notion that some external agency corrects your trouble and you can be led to the highest by somebody's help. That's what I'm leading you to understand, that the real you is the sun. And the sun doesn't need anyone's help. But if you are a reflected sun, then you need all the help from everyone. Every moment you are dependent upon so many things for your stability. So with the more you are involved with your ego, identified with ego, greater is the sense of dependence, bondage. The more you are free of ego's pressure, greater the self-effacement, greater the surrender to God, greater is your experience of inner independence. No longer you are a slave to countless things. You are the Lord and Master. Due to ignorance, the reflected self, that jiva, suffers from miseries. The knower and enjoyer, the self, Brahman within you, is different from these. Sun is different from all the reflected suns. In the same way, Brahman is different from all the jivas undergoing the process of bondage and release. Thus, by the miracle of ignorance, these different entities have blended together to sustain the motion of the wheel of the world process. O Rama, listen to another potent method for destroying the illusion of the world process. It is the form of mental worship of Lord Shiva. I learned this mystic art directly from Shiva himself. There comes this figurative story, and of course it is a real story from advanced point of view. But the main purpose is to understand the message. The message is, if you want to simplify your spiritual progress for attaining enlightenment, begin with being initiated into mantra. And gradually, as you do japa, etc., understand the difference between vocal recitation of the mantra and mental recitation of the mantra. And the mental recitation of mantra implies mental worship of the deity Shiva. But when Vasistha is talking about Shiva as deity, the real teaching is not confined to only one mantra. You can choose any mantra, but follow the same, what Vasistha is experiencing on the basis of Shiva mantra. What he experienced, he will experience on the basis of any Ishta mantra. Because all mantras are of the same Brahman, the Absolute. The divine abode of Lord Shiva is situated on the snowy summits of the Kailash mountains, adorned with the crescent moon on his forehead. Lord Shiva abides there along with Goddess Uma. Each Ishta Devata has a setting, allegorical setting. Shiva is on Kailasha mountain. Kailasha is climax of auspiciousness. And on his head is crescent moon, that's mind, that constantly stays distracted in in all people. In Shiva, stays in a state of serenity. Absolute serenity is crescent moon in Shiva's head. No more waxing or waning. No more lunatico. Luna sin atatico. Just la luna, without the attic. And Goddess Uma is Prakriti Devi, and many details that you have with Shiva. They're all allegorical. Similarly, when you worship Rama, all the details, what is Sita, what Lakshmana implies, what Hanuman, all have a different implications. But they are all attributes of Brahman. Like Rama is absolute self, Sita is Prakriti Devi, Lakshmana is cosmic mind, Seshanag, Hiranyagarbha. Hanuman is cosmic strength. And similarly, whatever Ishta Devata you choose, and all the details of Ishta Devata are different attributes of Brahman. And you are. So, by adopting the sample of Shiva mantra, you are being given that understanding of the role of mantra in your sadhana movement. Otherwise, when you read that without proper guidance, then if you have been Rama, initiated into Ram mantra, having read this, oh, I should be initiated into Shiva mantra. But that's completely foolish. At one time, I had created an ashram on the banks of the Ganges in these Kailasha mountains. According to storyline, Vasistha is thousands of years old, gone through yuga after yuga. And I was living a life of austerity dedicated to the worship of Lord Shiva, as well as I performed various religious disciplines. It was the 8th day of the dark fortnight of the Shravana month, and I was spending the first part of the night in the practice of worship, repetition of mantra, meditation and samadhi. All the details don't matter too much, but the idea behind it, that Vasistha is explaining, even he, for attaining enlightenment, began with these practices. So you should not waver from practicing various details, but with the purpose of not staying confined to ritualistic level, but ritualistic level and many other details are important. By practicing them, you gradually evolve. You go to kindergarten in order to come to higher level of education. So one time when he was doing a special worship on a sacred day, there was total darkness around. After being in samadhi for a little while, I became slightly externalized and saw before me an effulgent light that dazzled in white radiance like millions of moons ablaze at the same time. He doesn't mention millions of suns. I'm joking. Because even one sun is enough to turn you to ashes. But millions of moons, that's like diving in the ocean of bliss. Startled, I soon saw the dazzling form of Lord Shiva before me. He was accompanied by goddess Gauri, which is same as Uma Parvati, Nandi and other attendants. What Vasistha is pointing to, the experiences that occur when you are practicing meditation and samadhi, inspirational experiences. To majority of people, their attention is towards some special vision, and the vision is described in these forms. But divine darshan is not always in the form of vision, in the form of a wonderful dream-like experience. It is sometimes, so subtle that your mind has changed from a negative to positive, and you don't even know how it has happened. The divine in you has, the grace of God has worked wonders. So that also is, in a way, a darshan of God. You are filled with a confounding situation in life. You don't know where to go, how to go. And suddenly a switch of attention changes. And you realize, here is my key. And I can solve all those things. But you don't have any story to tell. That I was dreaming, and Shiva came and gave me a boon. Try to understand what I'm saying. I'm saying from an advanced level. So don't always look forward to having vision, but understand the divine grace operates through your personality in many ways. And all that movement is like darshan of God and receiving His boon. And with this I'm going to conclude. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. May God shower His Karunamaya Ras grace over all of you, and the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshyamamritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat.